There's light within me, which knows no imperfection, weakness, or sickness. The world is incomplete. The God in my own consciousness is both perfect and complete. Nothing can be wrong but my own personal attitude. And my own personal attitude can only be wrong when I disobey that which is within. I am a perfect manifestation of God so far as I've come. And I will press on and be complete. I will trust and not be afraid. Amen. Good day, great people. Good day. I want you guys to put a 5 in the box if you've had a wonderful week, if you guys have been doing your affirmations, if you were creating this lovely habit. And the great thing about it is a lot of things are coming into fruition for everyone, right? For everyone. So you got to understand that the circle that we're in, we have this is like our own little mastermind. And what it is, and it talks about it in chapter 11, maybe even chapter 10. But yes, this is the psychic phase of the mastermind. We're going through it, and we're understanding it. We're learning together, and we'll let this energy flow. One of the great things about it is that we all get to go through it together, and it's not like we're just running through it. You have time to read those chapters. You have time to go back and look at the videos. You have time to study the material and do that. Do the work that's in those workbooks. Right? Make sure you guys are getting the homework done. It's going to help you in the long run. Right? It helps you along with the reading. Ask questions afterwards to have you to understand what you read. So that's critical to our growth. It's very critical to our growth. So even just starting before we start, is there anyone that would like to, that has a testimony that would like to come on that would actually, so I'll wait on that one. We'll hold up on that one. But I want some people that want to come on and, give a testimony or tell how it's working out for them, right? And for me, it's a little bit, I'm gonna tell you, I can't wake up without this stuff on my mind. What I will say is I spoke to someone this weekend, and she said, a very good close friend, and we've been in the book a time before when we did it as a family. And she said, Mario, you know what? I manifested $160,000, right? $160,000. I read the book and I finished it, but I'm still coming to the classes. But I manifested $160,000. I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? So it's everyone, right? Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. We have limitless power. We just got to learn how to tap into it. We have to learn how to tap into that limitless power and continue to move ourselves in the direction of where we want to be, right? So one of the things I want to open up with is a quote. One of the quotes that we usually do. So it says, people who do not understand your silence will never understand your words. Many of us can't move in silence because we want applause from an audience who don't even care about us. Wow. Stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Inspire yourself. And that's so true. A lot of the things that we go out and get, we're looking to impress people. Well, I can say that for way when we were coming up. But, live in your own lane. Live in your own lane, right? And that's critical to our growth. You don't have to go out and buy the thing so everybody can see. Buy it because you genuinely want it. That's something that you want to have. It's on your vision board. It's written down. It's something that you want to have. We're not in the business of impressing other people, right? Impress your subconscious with the information that you want in order to get those things, right? So starting off with the power of the mastermind, we kind of went over some of the stuff in the beginning, and it talked about it in organized planning. In organized planning, it talked about a lot of it. Power is essential for success. And the power of the mastermind is so critical, because in order for us to gain that power, in order for us to gain that wealth, in order for us to make this dream that we have happen, we have to have other people that are in our circle that are going to help us receive these things, right? And this is what it talks about in organized planning, creating that selected group of people that are going to be able to help us. And you have to be discriminatory. This is probably the only time I'm gonna ask you to be discriminatory, right? In the process of selecting the people around you that that are going to be able to help you to get to where you need to be, right? Find the people that are going to help you out. You're going to need a lawyer on your team. You're going to need an accountant on your team. You're going to need someone that knows the business in and out on your team, right? Fill those spots out. Don't just fill them with family and friends. That's the wrong route to go. You want to fill those spots with people that are worthy and that are actually better than you, that can help you get to where you need to be, that see what you're doing and see that you have a passion about it to get where you need to be. All right. So it starts off with power of the mastermind. This chapter is the driving force, the 9th step towards riches. Power is essential for success in accumulated money. So we need to have some power behind us to push us towards these riches that we're aiming for. Right. And even in essence, think about it. A lot of us are already attracting what we're getting on our own. Think about this here. If we're attracting those, what we seem to be large sums of money, think about if we have a team, 6, 7, 8, 10 people, and how that works, right? I'm gonna tell you, I'm always experimenting, and when I'm talking about experimenting, I was I like incense in our bathroom, and sometimes I meditate in the bathroom, but I lit them both and I put them together, and the fire got bigger when you put the two together. So even on your own, when you put the two together on their own, they're burning, but when you put them together, the fire raises up another level, right? So it's not just with humans, it's with anything. These are universal principles that we have to learn, folks. We have to combine our efforts with other people in order to get what we want out of life. Understand that we have to combine our efforts in order to get what we want out of life. If you're not a team leader, get on a team, join a team until you can become a leader, right? And it talks about our plans are useless without sufficient power. If we don't have the manpower to push our plans where we need to be, we're not going to get there. Our plans are useless without the sufficient power to translate them into action. We need people that are going to be able to do things that we can't do. I talked about this in organized planning. We need people. We need those valuable people that are going to help us become the person that we want to be, the person that we see ourselves being. And then even with that, when you get to the spot, and not so much when you get to the spot, because you're going to already have their compensation talked about before they get started. That's with organized planning. That's why they're on your team. You're offering them something. You may be offering them a piece of your company, right? So they're not working for free. They're coming to get some work in. They're coming to help you. But in turn, you're giving them something. But we're going to need those people in order to advance in our life. Power may be defined as organized and intelligently directed knowledge, right? They say, we used to hear knowledge is power. It's not very, it is, but it isn't. It's only power when it's put into action, right? Having knowledge just make me learn it. If I don't do anything with that knowledge, I have to put that knowledge into action and make it roll for you. Myself, you have to put that knowledge into action. If you just keep it in the book, if you just keep the knowledge in the book, right? If you just keep it in the book, you're going to know it and no one else. Get some people to help you out. Organized effort is produced through the coordination of effort. Coordination, right? We have to be organized. We have to coordinate. 2 or more people who work towards a definite end in a spirit of harmony. You're going to hear that word a lot. Harmony. 2 or more, right? All of this that we're hearing, all of this that we're going through, all of these are biblical terms in every essence of every religion. I don't care what religion, you're going to hear all of these different things, 2 or more. Coordination, harmony, how we get along with people, how we move throughout the world. These are things that are going to help us become the people that we want to be. And we have to move like that. So if you're a person that just says, I'm going to get it on my own, I got it out the mud, no one, I'm going to tell you, like I tell my son, no one is self-made, right? No one is self-made. There are a couple of different people that have helped you make you who you are. No one is truly self-made. That's a term that's loosely thrown out there, but no one is self-made. You continue to develop yourself, but you get the help of other people that help you get to that point to help you rise to a new station in life. There are people that are helping us, right? And power is required for the accumulation of money. We have to understand this. Power is necessary for the retention of money after it has been accumulated. So we need the power in order to keep the money. We get the power to gather it up, but we also need it to keep it. We still need that accountant. We still need that lawyer on payroll. We still need all those different people that are going to help us, because those are things that we need. That's how this world works. So you need to keep them. When we get to that destination, start cutting people off. That doesn't work like that. You need to keep that circle of people. You need to keep that circle of people, and you need to encourage them to do some of the same things in developing themselves. It's critical, right? Because if you're growing and the person on your team isn't growing or they're lacking, one or two things: you need to cut them off, or you need to help them grow themselves, bring them up. Because guess what? I always say this, as you stick your hand up, there's somebody pulling you up. Pull somebody up with you. Stick one hand down, pull somebody up, right? That's how we get out of this funk. As we rise to new levels, pull somebody up. But make sure that person has a hunger for the pulling, right? That makes sure that person isn't tugging you back down, because now that only pulls the person that's pulling you. It's a chain effect. So we have to understand what it is that we're doing, how we're doing it, and where we're going with it. Gaining power through the mastermind, so critical, because every person on your mastermind team should know something different. They are going to play a critical role in the growth. What is a mastermind? Mastermind is the coordination of knowledge, effort, in a spirit of harmony. People have to get along on that mastermind team, right? Between two or more. It just can't be one. It can't be you. That means you're a single mind, not a mastermind, right? In the attainment of a definite purpose. We know what the definite purpose is because we put it out there. We've written it on paper. Now we have this team that's going to help us get where we need to be. No one may have great power without availing themselves of the mastermind. You're going to have a little power, right? With a little fire, you get little heat. Talks about that too. With a little bit of fire, we get a little bit of heat. But we got a lot of fire, we got a lot of heat, and we roll. And as we continue to roll, we get that fire picked up. We know how wildfire spread, right? That's how you want to connect. That's how you want to connect with people, right? And it talks about using, and I went over this, talks about using discrimination when building this mastermind. Is very crucial in the growth of everyone. It is very crucial in the growth of everyone, right? So with that being said, it goes into two forms of mastermind, two forms of mastermind. There's economic, which is about helping to build money, and then there's a psychic form, right? In the economic comes with surrounding yourself with the advice and counsel of people and personal cooperation of people who are willing to come together in harmony to help you build this empire. The psychic phase references more to the spiritual nature. We're going through the psychic phase because we're building, developing ourselves, and each one of us are learning something. We're able to take something away from here. And that's why I asked you guys to even come on, because when you come on, what happens is, guess what? I hear your testimony. I hear what you've done. I hear what man, that inspires me. I'm like, whoa, let's get going, right? Because I like to see results. I like to hear results. I like to And when doing great things, it helps us to move in the direction of greatness. So understand that. When two minds or more come together in a spirit of harmony, they form an affinity. What is affinity? Which means come together in the form of a marriage, right? So that's the affinity that we're talking about as we continue to move. It has to be a marriage that's working in harmony to get the best out of the best and move us in the direction that we need to be, right? Example of how the brain works, and he went over this. Imagine this, one little battery has power. It has power, but when you have a group of batteries, the electricity charge from those group of batteries is so much more that it moves everything that comes its way, right? So we have to understand what that team effort brings us. The mind principles holds a secret to the power that's held by men who surround themselves with other men of brains. You got to get thinkers, and that's what they're talking about. You got to have people that can sit and think and do actually shakers and movers, if we had to be exact. You got to get some shakers and movers around. People that are doing things. You have to look around and see who's doing things, or ask around. Find people that don't take defeat lightly, right? And not really too seriously, because guess what? You're going to run into some defeat somewhere, but you don't want to be the person that's just harping on it. The power is always made through a friendly alliance. You want, I can't stress this enough, harmony. They have to get along. They talk about that bad apple in a bunch. That bad apple is for real. One bad apple can spoil the bunch, because it's critical that in one of the books, I don't remember his title, in the book that Napoleon Hill Wright wrote about, but it talked about, and it was real cutthroat. When you find that person that's the negative energy in your group, you have to remove them quickly, right? You have to suture them, cut them out quick, because it can spread like wildfire amongst the other members, and you don't want that, right? Remember, this is for your growth. This is for my growth. We have to recognize those things as we move into those spaces. What I get from this is your mastermind group has to be a selective group of people. The people can work together in harmony, right? There has to be a benefit to each member of the group, and the energy from that group of people will help form the power that you and I need to be successful people. That's what our mastermind is. The psychic phase of the mastermind principle. When a group of individual brains coordinate to work in harmony, they increase the energy so that the alliance becomes available to everyone. So everything that you're learning in the psychic phase, like we're learning here, it becomes available to everyone because we're giving it out. It becomes available to everyone. Exactly what we're doing here today and for the past couple of weeks. That's what it is. So this power is available to everyone, and everyone that's a part of this group. And we want you guys to take some of this power home. Take it with you. Bottle it up, right? And run with it throughout the week. And then come back on Sunday and let's get it again. Why do I like Sundays? Sundays are the first day of the week, even though we deem Monday as the first day of the week. But if you prepare Sunday, Monday is going to be easy. A lot of people say, oh, they don't like Mondays. I love Mondays because that's when we had our start already. If you started the right way, Monday is going to be a breeze. And if you need a restart, let it be Wednesday, what they call hump day. That's going to carry you through the week's end. So be willing to start and go, right? People take on the nature of and habits and the power of thought of those whom they associate in the spirit of harmony. So all of the people in the group, we tend to take on each other's tendencies when we start to mastermind. We tend to take on each other's excitement. We tend to take on the way we speak, right? The way we move. That's critical. You tend to learn from people. Can you turn on? I need a light. I need a light. So you tend to learn. You tend to learn a lot from those people. So it's critical that you select the right people to be around. right? It's critical that you select the right people to be around. And I wrote, this is why having a retreat is important, right? You want to retreat with people that have power. You want to absorb some of that power. You want to go with people that are better than you, right? So you can say, you know what? It's time for me to level up. They got this. It's time for me to level up. You want to be around people that are doing great things. People inspire people. And guess what? You're not competing with them, but you're able to see how people are living. You're able to see how people are moving, which inspires you as a person. You don't want to be at the end of the bottom, right? You don't want to be at the tail end and just receiving the scraps. No, we're all better than that. And this is what this philosophy is about, to get us moving into the direction that serves us. But understanding how this power works, we have to have a team of people that are going to push us in the way. So even if you're on a team, develop your team behind that team that pushes you, right? Whether you need a photographer, whether you need a social media person, and I'm talking to myself with that, right? You have to be in accordance with everybody on your team. We can see that from we can see this understanding from something that happened in the last chapter, right at the end. He talked about power. One person that has some power, he talked about, if you read it, talked about Gandhi. No guns. He moved 200 million people in the right direction to come in power with 200 people to coordinate the mind and body and the spirit and harmony of a definite purpose. That was some of the greatest power that has been seen. Napoleon Hill called this a miracle, because you think about it. In some ways, it's a challenge to get 5 people to move in the right direction. It's a challenge to get 3 people to move in the right direction, but you got 200 million people moving in the right direction on the same accord. That's power. That's a way that and that's a way that you're doing it without being able to force people, right? That's the power that's unseen. And when you come across that power, you understand it, because it's a force that you don't have to go and use guns. You don't have to use scare tactics, fear tactics, right? These people want to move with you because they see who you are and how you're moving, right? So in understanding that, that's the type of power we want from life. But we have to call for it. We have to call for that power. We have to ask for it. We have to move in that direction. We have to suppress our subconscious mind with information that we want, because the subconscious mind continues to work whether we're awake or asleep. The subconscious mind helps us to breathe. We don't sit there and just think about breathing, right? It helps our blood to flow. It does all of those different jobs, right? So if we start and we're going into the subconscious mind next week, but just giving you guys an idea, right? The subconscious mind allows us to do a lot of different things without thinking about them. But so if we start to channel that energy and say, okay, subconscious mind, I want you to do this thing and make it automatic. My other self, help myself, make myself go and get these things that I need to go and get. But that comes with telling yourself over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Right now, and I'm gonna veer off a little bit, I'm on day 15 of writing that 369. It's my little book. I took a book, 369 Manifestation, right on day 15. So that tells me it was 2 weeks ago. Today, I'm so thankful for the universe aligning with me to attract $100 million into my bank account, bringing with it financial freedom, joy, and excitement into my life, right? I am so thankful for the universe aligning with me to attract $100 million into my bank account, bringing with it financial freedom, joy, and excitement into my life, right? And you have to understand that. I'm writing that and I'm saying that. I've learned it over the course of time, just writing it, because I'm writing it, I'm repeating it, I'm writing it, right? So in understanding that, Napoleon Hill states, this is not a course on religion, right? But you can use it with the religion, because there's a lot of spiritual principles that go along with it. This course is to instruct you on how to turn your desire for money into its monetary equivalent. It's not telling you, you can utilize these principles in what you're already learning in your religious practices. It's universal, right? Read, think, and meditate as you read. Read, think, and meditate as you read. Yes, we can meditate as we read because we're so locked in. Sometimes you come to a stop and you just start to think about those things. I'm gonna tell you, I'm one of the people that if I come across a word, I have to go and look up that definition really quickly. What does this mean? What does this mean? And I'll write it down. So if you hear me giving off the definition, that's because I went and looked it up. I'm not telling you that I know everything, right? And it's not my job to know everything. But if it's a word, I need to understand what it means. As soon as you understand the subject, you'll see it in its perspective. Power is used, the power used in getting money is no different from getting a mate, right? Napoleon Hill states that we have to woo the money. Woo, woo, woo. And Martin said, I know y'all, because all you guys are probably somewhere around my age, just a little bit younger, a little bit older. But Martin, y'all might remember the Martin show, woo, 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 right? You got to woo that money, right? And wooing the money is when they talk about getting the money, you have to bring it to yourself. You have to bring it to yourself. You have to coerce it, right? You have to coerce the money. You got to call for it. And when you talk about calling for it, I'm writing it. I'm asking for it in my prayers, but more so, the money isn't going to come to you like that. It's going to come in the way of a plan. And in that way of that plan, now you're going to start to work that plan with that team, right? So you have to understand what it is that you are asking for and do it daily. That comes with putting in the work. When we talk about putting in the work, it says you have to put in the work in order to get it. And we don't know at what point in time that's going to click in our minds, right? We don't know what point in time that's going to click. But if we continue to do it, there comes this, and they talk about this here, hunches, aha moments, right? So understand that. He also had a quote here. It says, poverty needs no plan. It's bold and ruthless. Think about all the people, all the poverty that's out there right now. And I really don't want you to think about poverty. I want you to think about riches, right? Think about it. All the poverty that's out there. Poverty is a gangster. Poverty is a gangster because once poverty jump on a person's back, and those people are just moving in fear. They're thinking about the next bill. They're thinking about how am I going to have this or how am I going to have that, instead of saying, you know what? I'm not even going to think about that. I'm going to move in a direction and get this plan and start working towards being a better person so I can get the things that I've asked for. So I can receive the things that I've asked for. Don't think about what you don't have, right? Put yourself in the way of thinking about what you're going to go and get. It's a mind shift. We got to shift the mind, shift the way we think. Don't think about the negative. And guess what? It's hard for some people because they have trained yourself. At one point in time, I was there. And I'm gonna tell you, even in a sense of, I utilize the music for what I need it for. I utilize the music when I'm in the gym working. I call it the gym, my garage. When I'm working out in the garage early in the morning, I'm gonna listen to the rap music. I'm gonna listen to it because it's gonna move me in that way. It's vibration, and we talk about vibrations. Watch the vibrations that are around you. I'm going to listen to the music. I'll turn the curse words off, right? Because I don't want to take it in. I already know what it's gonna say, but there's no need for it to continue to feed into my subconscious mind. So with that being said, after that, guess what? I go meditate and get all of it out. And then I start my day. If you ride with me in my car, I may not have no music. I may be listening to some positive motivation, or I'm listening to myself, figuring this thing out as I move, right? Silence. And that's what I need. I don't need nobody else's thoughts impressing my mind. And I tell my students the same thing. I used to be a Tupac junkie way back in the day. You know what? Tupac talked about dying too much. And guess what happened? He got shot and killed. He called death. He called death a lot. And when you start to call death, oh, guess what? It starts to seek you out. Right? So in understanding that, Biggie did the same thing, Ready to Die on their album. You got to be careful of the words that you put out there, the words that you profess out of your mouth. That is real, folks. I believe in that. Right? So I can't just sit there and listen to Tupac. I don't even listen to Tupac no more. It may be a time I'll listen to him in the workout, but I got to drain that out my system as soon as I finish. So in understanding that, I need to be able to listen to my own thoughts. Poverty needs no plan. It's already out there. It is bold and ruthless. Riches are shy and timid. They have to be attracted, right? So what I'm gonna tell you is dress up every day like you're going to attract that person that you're going to see. That person's name is money, right? Dress up, look the part of what it is that you want. Look the part. Even if you're around the house, make yourself feel good. Every day before I come on the Zoom, I might throw on some cologne, get myself right, because that's what makes me feel good. Do what makes you feel good. And my wife make me feel good and say, oh, you smell good, right? Right? She amped me up a little bit. So I'm like, hey, but do what makes you feel good around the house. Don't just be lagging around the house. All right? We must continue to create a positive mindset and attract the people of like minds that can help us create this harmonious mastermind. It is so true when we talk about this mastermind, which ultimately helps us get to the station in life that we're seeking. And guess what? When you get to that station in life, you're going to want more. That's just what the human nature wants. So continue to get more, but continue to bring more people up that you can help. Continue to help other people come up, and that's what we talk about, giving back. This is nothing but an education that you can give back to help people get to where they need to be. Educate the people. Educate the people. What is it going to cost you? A little bit of time? A little bit of time. Right? It's going to cost you a little bit of time. But educate people. This is called giving back. So in you understanding that could be your service. Right? You have to be able to serve at some point in time in your life. Right? So understand that. And that wraps up our chapter 10. As we move into chapter 11, it talks about the mystery of sex transmutation. Wow, this was a great chapter here, if you guys read it. A great chapter. Talks about translating that sexual energy, because most of us think it's just physical, right? Translating that energy into the desire. Translating that energy, right? And I really, just going through it, and walking my kid, I'm really going through, like, how do you do this? And I got it. All right? I got it. And I was like, whoa. You start to figure these things out. It's just an aha moment. Transmute means the changing or transferring of one element or form of energy into another. That's what we're talking about with transmutation. Sex is a state of mind. We tend to think of it as purely physical. I'm gonna tell you what I saw it as a state of mind first. And when I was like, wow. If you guys ever remember, it was the avatars, those blue avatars. And the guy thought he was getting ready to have sex with the avatar. And they put on the headphones and they had sex like that. And I was like, there we go. Right? Wow, here we go. This is something. Wow. It's a mental thing. But we know the physical aspect of it. But sex is one of the most physical emotions that allow us to get these things that we want. And it talks about being the emotion of sex and being highly sexed as a person. The emotion of sex has three constructive potentials. One, the growth of mankind, how it came about. Two, the maintenance of health. as a therapeutic agent, and it has no equal, right? That moment, right? I'm, 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 I'm clowning, but that everybody knows what that is, because you're so relaxed, that climax that in the physical. But imagine that same thing in the mental, right? And you utilizing it to go and get these things that you want. Gentlemen, I'm talking to you, gentlemen. Think about you chasing that girl that you always wanted. You wasn't gonna stop until you got her. You was gonna woo her. Think about money that way now, right? Think about the money that way. What is it? And you're asking for this plan to go out and get this thing so that you can have the money. Because it's not that you're just going for the money, you're going for this desire, whatever that occupation is, whatever that entrepreneur avenue is, to get these things. And you put that same energy into getting it, right? It talks about 3, the transformation of, it takes you from the transformation of being in mediocrity into a genius through transformation, right? Sex transmutation explains switching of the mind from the thoughts of the physical expression in nature to another nature. So you got to understand, how do you switch the physical into putting it into purely something different that you could go after. Sex desire is the most powerful of the human desires. Sex desire is the most powerful of the human desires. We have to understand that. We know what we want. We know how that woman looks. We know how that man looks. We know what turns us on. But think about that in terms of your business. What turns you on? I'm gonna get dressed up. I'm gonna look good. I'm gonna go out and attract this money. I'm gonna go out and attract these people that can help me get this money, right? And I'm saying money, but it's not just the money. It's the plan to get the money. It's the desire. What is that desire that comes into a plan that helps you receive that money? You got to dress the part every day. No days off. No days off, right? Only time you can let down is when you're around the house. You step out your doors, you got to be at your best every day. Every day, right? It is what it is. You have to now upscale the movement. When driven by this desire, humans develop a keenness of imagination, right? Keenness, meaning eager or enthusiastic. Just think about it. And I'm talking to the fellas here. Think about it. You be like, ooh, ooh. And women be the same way. Now, don't let them fool you, fellas. They know what they want. They know how they want it, right? Number 2, it helps you with courage. Number 3, it helps you with willpower. Number 4, it helps you to be persistent, right? Some of us are very persistent at getting the person that we want in our life. I got a story for that, even with my wife. Number 5, and it helps with the creative ability, unknown, right? To them at times, at other times. The desire for sexual contact we have with women or men, right? We're willing to risk it all. Our life, our reputation, we're willing to risk going all out, getting this woman or this man. And sometimes the risk is worth it and sometimes it's not. So we truly have to understand how the sex energy works and where it's taking us, because it's going to help us if we use it in the right direction. It's going to help us if we use it in the right way, right? When we redirect this sex energy, it can be used as a force to our own occupations, businesses, right? So we have to utilize this energy. We have to harness it. And this is what I would say, teach our young people this same aspect early and often. Teach them early and often how to bottle up the sex energy and to use it for the right thing. If we teach them, it collapses decades. Because even in this chapter, I'm gonna get to it, but I'm gonna talk about it now. It talks about men don't usually get it until about 40. Start to figure it out. And then it's the years between 40 and 60 when you've slowed down and you really start to utilize your mind power. At that point in time, you say, oh, aha, boom, okay. Wow. Plenty of people, and I've seen it, and I've been a part of it. The time and energy you spend chasing tail, girls, if you chase that occupation, you chase that entrepreneurship venture that same way, you're going to be successful because you have this thing that says, you know what, I'm locked in. Utilize that same energy. We teach our kids that same energy and aspect. They're going to be unstoppable. We cut the gap of saying 40 to 60 down to 30s and 40s because there is a process of learning it. The transmutation of sex energy calls for willpower. We have to have a strong willpower when we're transmuting. We have to understand, I can't use all my powers in doing the physical. I have to utilize it and put some of that power into utilizing the mental portion of it to get the things that I want. It makes me a little more hungrier, right? The desire for sex expression is natural and it shouldn't be suppressed though. It shouldn't be suppressed. It's a natural thing. But put towards constructive activities that uplifts the body, mind, and spirit. When you put it towards something that's constructive, so it has to have an angle, it has to be curtailed. And he gave the example of, let's say, a dam overflowing, right? A river and a dam. Once the dam gets backed up, the water starts to rise, it's going to go somewhere. You have to put it into some type of channel or it's going to break loose and want to do its own thing. And it may be destructive in nature when it does. Sex energy or the emotion of sex is ever seeking and it will find means of being expressed, even if it is put into something constructive or creative. Find a creative way to utilize your sex energy, and it should be towards your desire, right? I'm gonna tell you to think about it like this here. If you can go back in your minds and think about some good sex, right? If you can go back in your mind and think about some good sex, think about that good sex, like energy, that same pattern, and I'm putting it towards going to get the things that I want out of life. That's going to help you. Now I can channel that energy. Oh, that was a wonderful night. Into, well, that was a great day. That was a great day. That was a great day. So you got to understand, I got to be able to move it from here, from the physical into the mental. Sometimes some scientific facts that he talked about. The men and women of the greatest achievement have highly developed sex natures and have learned the art of sex transmutation. Number two, men who have accomplished and accumulated great wealth were motivated by the influence of women. They were motivated by the influence of women, right? Women, you guys have something about you that a man will go out his way to do or to have, right? Man wants to take care of his family, he's going to do that. If he don't, he's not going to do that. But if a man wants to take care of his family, he's going to do everything possible that he can because he loves his woman. So even in harnessing that, we need y'all to pat us on our back sometimes. Tell us we doing good, honey, you doing good. All right? Baby, you doing good. I love what you're doing. Yeah, we like our head to be rubbed and our back we like to be told that we're doing great. That's just our ego. I'm speaking for me, but I'm telling you for the other men who are not on here, rub their back, push them through, encourage them. Baby, you can do this. I'm with you. What is it? I told you my wife saw, she wasn't my wife then, but she saw, using these same composition books, she saw stuff that I had written in the composition book, right? Why is it still in this book? Let's get it going. Let's go there, right? All I needed was a helpmate at that point in time. But that goes back to even what we were learning. I am a creator, but you need somebody to sell. You need a creator and you need a seller. You need somebody that's going to be able to push, that's going to be able to say, you can get this done. And even from that standpoint, it helps you to continue to move in that direction. And so it don't have to be your wife, it can be your team, but that's the team right now, right? Outside of my school team, because we get a lot of things done. And that's purely mind power. We said we get it done, and it happens quickly because we're moving in that direction, right? When driven by sex, when driven by the sex emotion, people become gifted with some type of superpower, right? Destroying the sex glands in a man or animal, you remove the majority source of action. I'm gonna go to this story here. George Washington Carver, Peanut Man. I'm not gonna say that they destroyed what he had. What he did, he learned to use it in a different way. So they castrated him. He stayed with the white family, but they castrated him so he wouldn't get to their daughter, right? So what he did, he learned how to, if you know anything about Ford, Ford went to George Washington Carver to understand about plants. That's why they call car plants, right? He went to get that information. George Washington Carver couldn't do nothing, so he started to utilize his mind a lot more. I talked about this guy last week, Xavier on X-Men. Couldn't move, he in a wheelchair, but he's the most powerful of the X-Men. He calls the shots. He brings all of the superpowers together and makes the moves. So the people with the mind power that helps other people continue to better themselves. So you got it. So I think it moves in a couple of different ways, right? The 10 mind stimulus, which the mind responds to. Number one, right? This is going from top to bottom. The 10 stimulus that the mind responds to. And when we think of mind, I don't want you guys to think of brains. The mind is something totally different, right? Number one is the desire for sex expression. Number two is love. Number three is a burning desire for fame, power, or money. Number four, music. Music gets us going. Number five, friendship between opposite or same sex. Number six, a mastermind alliance. Number seven, mutual suffering by people who have been persecuted. That's kind of odd, but it's real, right? Mutual suffering by people who have been persecuted. There's one group of people. They're 1% of the world, but they own 25% of the wealth. 1% of the world, 1% of the people owns 25% of the wealth. The Jewish, right? They went through a great deal. My people, we need to understand this and we need to move in the right direction too. Yes, indeed. So with that understanding, number 8, autosuggestion. Number 9, fear. Number 10, narcotics and alcohol. Yes, people are moved off narcotics and alcohol. These people are able to, some people drink before they go and do a show. Some people smoke before they go and do a show because it gets them in a relaxed state or get them in a hype state or whatever type of drugs they have to do. But the last two are purely destructive. They will destroy you. So if you don't have to use those things, do not use them, right? Utilize these other emotions that are going to stimulate the mind to get you where you need to be. Napoleon Hill defines his definition of a genius. What is a genius? Genius is a person who has discovered how to increase the vibration of thought to the point where they can freely communicate with sources of knowledge not available through the ordinary rate of vibration. When we talk about vibration, music has vibration. The way we talk to ourselves has vibration. The way we use our words, if it comes from the gut. If you're a singer, you know you have to sing from the gut, right? When you say your affirmations, you gotta learn how to sing them from the gut. Draw it from the gut. There's a certain type of vibration, and this is something that I've studied. They say English is like the flattest language, but when you hear Spanish, they're rolling their tongue, like the drum beat, it does something to the brain. So even in that, we have to be able to pull from our own source to make us that much better. We got to learn how to do these things, right? How can we do that, one may ask? It's reach the genius state. It's through the sixth sense. And he calls the sixth sense the creative imagination. We have to have a creative imagination. This is the sixth sense, which is rarely used by people, having a creative imagination. The faculty of creative imagination is direct link between the finite thinking of man and infinite intelligence. So finite, meaning limited, right? The limited thinking of the mind of man and infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence, I tell you, uses as a word of God, right? So in understanding that, this is what happens and how it comes together. They come from God, the subconscious mind, number two, and from the mind of other people who release thoughts, right? People release thoughts, and you can pick up on those thoughts, right? It's not that you're a mind reader, but it's just those vibrations. It's in the ether, and we can draw from the ether to get those thoughts. You ever, and everybody has done this. We talked about this. I know Mr. Muhammad is on here, but we talked about this here. Have you ever thought of something and then later down the line, somebody came up with that invention or did that same thing, and you're like, man, I should have went with that. Wow. Right? So when you think about it, you're putting in that thought in the atmosphere. You're dropping a big old boulder into the lake. And when that, or let's just say a meteor, when it hits the Atlantic Ocean, it's going to create a huge wave, and those waves are sent out. People pick up on those waves. So if you think it, you better get it into action, right? It's not like the person is going to beat you to it, but you need to be working towards it so it can happen for you, right? Don't come up with these great ideas and you don't act on it. Don't come up with the greatest ideas and you just sit back on it. If that's the case, right? If that's the case, you need to go work for somebody and get paid for your great ideas. There's nothing wrong with that. It talks about that in this chapter 2, sitting for ideas, number 4. All right, these ideas, they come from other people, subconscious mind, because they're sitting on their ideas. It's in the ether. You put it in a way so people can grab it. So if you're going to think these grand old great thoughts, these wonderful thoughts, act upon it, my great people. Act upon it. It is going to help you get to the next level, right? We have to put it into action. If we don't put it into action, somebody else will, right? So the sixth sense is creative imagination, and it functions best when the mind is vibrating, one of the forms of the mind stimulation. So the sixth sense works best when we're stimulated. Number 1 is the desire for sex. Number 2 is love. Number 3 is your burning desire for whatever it is that you want. And we started off with burning desire. We didn't start off with talking about the sex expression or love. We talked about the burning desire, keying ourselves up. So we all have a burning desire because you've written it down. Now we must act upon it, because guess what? We put the thought out there. And since the thought is out there, we got to move in the direction. Continue to move. No one's going to beat you to what is for you, but move. Don't wait. Act now. Right? Act now. The creative faculty of the mind is more alert when vibrating at a higher level. So whether that's meditation, all those different things, put the right people, right music, right energy around you. Those are the things that help you get to the next level of your life. Very true. All right. Some of the best ideas come through the voice that is within. We have to be still and listen. Right? Sometimes we got to go in that dark room. That dark room might be your closet. Shut the lights off, sit down, and just start to ask for some guidance. Look for that aha moment. Oh, I figured it out. Wow, boom, it comes to you. Napoleon Hill speaks about a great orator, right? Who doesn't attain greatness until he closes his eyes and begin to rely on the creative active faculty of his mind. You know what I wrote about that? I said, you know what that is? That's meditation and prayer. Sitting there closing your eyes before you even speak or move in the right direction. Before you come up with a decision. And even when people ask me something, I may say, give me a moment. Let me think about it. Because you have time to think instead of making a rash decision right at that point. Give me a moment to think about it. And when you put your thought to it, you may close your eyes and just ask for guidance on this decision or whatever it is that you're moving in that direction to do. So you have a moment. Utilize the tools. You don't have to make a brash decision, right? Try closing your eyes for 2 to 3 minutes before making a decision. Here you draw upon a source of superior intelligence. You draw upon the source of God. Because you're sitting in prayer, you're sitting in meditation for maybe that's those 2 or 3 minutes, and it gives you an answer that you're looking for. But this only happens by you doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Repetition is the goddess of learning. Repetition is the goddess of learning. Everything that we're learning here is about repetition. We have to be saying affirmations. We have to sit and listen. We have to go through all of these different things in order for it to work. We have to pay the price. This is the price. We're not paying money. We're paying with our time. And when you pay with the time, it comes back to you. So understand what it is that you are looking for and start to formulate it in your mind. Today, I went back through all of the notes because I want to know what I've written over the past. Usually I go back through the last week, but I went from the beginning to the end because I say, wow, I'm formulating a little book here. Wow, okay. It's the first time for everything. But I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information, that you guys are moving in the right direction, which in turn helps me 100%, right? Create a personal communication room for yourself. At the school, we have a meditation room. On the wall, it has like bamboo. It has all like a calming effect for it, right? You're gonna create that space for yourself. Create that space for yourself in your house. Where is it that you can go and be able to sit down in a quiet space and think great thoughts? The book is called Think and Grow Rich. We need to think about what it is that we want to become, utilize our thinking faculty. It's the mental portion of moving ahead that allows us to get ahead, right? We can only use the physical for so long. And then utilizing our mental, and I'm gonna give you a quick little story that one of my former players, high school, he's graduating from FAMU, and even with that, he was reaching out to me, hey coach, do you know of any teams that I can jump on or arena? You know what I told him? I say, out of the best decision that I can give you, or the best advice I can possibly give you, I say, young man, at this point in time, if you're not being selected or moving in the right direction, I think that you should be a graduate assistant. Start coaching, start utilizing your mind, all right? Playtime is over. Utilize your mind. Stop using the body at this point in time. You can get paid for utilizing your mind. You go to college, you went to college, now you can go get a master's degree by being a graduate assistant for 2 years. And then if you get on at that college, you'll be making $150,000 within the next 2 years, right? Doing something that you love. He said, Coach, that's why I came to you. You had some wisdom. I said, really, it's something that I wish somebody would have told me at the time that I was coming out. You don't have to keep chasing the dream. Because guess what? If you jump into this game early on, you're 22 years old. You can coach until you're 70, 80 years old, utilizing your mind. Your time to continue playing is gone. You're definitely going to make a lot more money if you stand it that long, right? Over a period of time. These coaches are out here making millions of dollars, being, I call it the highest paid teacher, doing something that they love, right? Now the kids are starting to make some money, but the gap is so wide, it's crazy. So you have to kind of steer people in the right direction, help them out, right? You want to, and he said, yeah, because my body was starting to, yeah, if your body is starting to ache, why are you still trying to bang it? Think about it, right? Make the right choice. But that's why they come to, and guess what? I applaud him for coming to the right person to ask about that information, right? I can only give him the best opinion that I have for him. Now he can go out and seek some more knowledge and ask someone else, but that would be on him. The choice is still on him. I gave him the best thing that I thought was best for him, right? Napoleon Hill also spoke about Dr. Gates getting paid for sitting for ideas. So instead of your ideas going to waste, if you're not a person that puts the idea into action, you can be like Dr. Gates. You can get paid for sitting for ideas. If you're a person that comes up with great ideas, right? Find companies that will pay you for your ideas, to sit for your ideas. All you have to do is patent them. And that's what Napoleon Hill talked about Dr. Gates did. He patented his ideas. He said, go check the patent office. If you don't believe what I'm saying to you, you got paid for sitting for ideas. People pay you for sitting with ideas. If you can bring an idea to them that's going to make them money, why wouldn't they pay you? Right? That's a small percentage, but hell, if you got 3, 4, 5, 6 companies doing that, you're making money hand over fist, just sitting and thinking about how you can make their company that much better. Right? There are people out here that do that on the regular. You have people that put your business out there. They're all different types of businesses. Where do you want to align yourself with? Right? Ideas received through the creative faculty are really more reliable than anything else. Because you had the time to sit down and think about it, and it's like premeditation. You went through the idea and how it was going to work. Now it just needs to come to life. All right. So one of the things we need to do is stimulate the mind with one or more of the 10 stimulants that are listed. And this is the example of how you do this thing. Here's an example of how to work the creative faculty of the mind. Stimulate the mind, number 1, with one of the 10 faculties. Number 2, concentrate on the finished part. And when it says concentrate on the finished part, begin with the end in mind. You know what it's going to look like when at the end, right? Creating the mind a perfect picture of the unfinished part of the desire. I was just listening to Bob Proctor. He says all of us, we move in pictures. We learn in pictures. That's how the brain operates. So I can see why people be in Instagram scrolling, flipping, right? But what I would say is even in that, fill your Instagram with people that are doing things that are going to inspire you, that have some of the things that you want, you can see the nice houses, you can see the nice boats, you can see the rental properties, you can see all of those things that you want. You can create your own vision board on Instagram and weed out some of that negative stuff that's on there, right? Your Instagram shouldn't have the negative stuff. It should have things that you want to surround yourself with. That is your vision board. If you're going to stay in it all day and be scripting and float, right? Scrolling and flipping. And I advise if you're scrolling and flipping all day, you're not getting your work done. So at some point in time, you're going to have to get out of that and go get your work done or go work for Instagram, right? Hold this picture in your mind until the subconscious mind takes it over. We're picture people. And that's why it's so important to get a vision board. Put on the vision board what you want to see. My vision board sits right on my desk, so I can see it every day. It reminds me of the things that I haven't accomplished, and I can see the things that I have accomplished. It allows me to move in that direction. It says, relax and clear the mind of all thoughts. Wait for the answer to flash. That's the aha moment. That is the aha moment. So what you do, you concentrate on the finish. You see what it looks like in the end, but you have to develop that middle part, right? You have to hold that picture in your mind so your subconscious gives you a plan to work it. Relax, clear the mind, and then wait for the answer. And the answer is the plan. Once you get the plan, let's go to work. We don't have time to sit back and not go to work. We have to move in a direction. Note to everyone, especially the men, keep the people around you who have helped you get to where you are in life, right? Because it was a portion of it that I was reading in the book where it spoke about men get to powerful positions. The wives help them get to powerful positions in life, and then they go out and find another wife. Ooh. Right? They go out and find another wife. Well, you got to understand that, hey, that wife can get there for better or for worse. Help her now. Right? Don't switch up. We're not doing a switch up thing. Help the people that helped you. Help the people that help you. Right? So, that's it's powerful in understanding. Now, what happens is you tend to lose power because the person you jump to, she don't have the power that your wife had, or the person that helps you get there. She don't have those qualities. She might be a little finer. She might be a little, but she may not have all of those qualities that help you get to where you are to sustain. So that's what you talk about. No new friends, no, right? You can't take on no new at that point in time. Help the people that help you. No switching out. If anything, elevate them, right? The human mind responds to stimulation. The greatest of the stimuli is the urge of sex, y'all. Sex energy is the creative energy of all genius, right? But this energy must be transmuted in order for it to happen. It must be transmuted from desire to physical contact. It must be, let me go back over there. This energy must be transmuted from desire for physical contact into something other form of desire and action. So we got to move that physical contact into, I'm going to do this, into my business. Why do men seldom succeed before 40? Not knowing this principle, number one. They don't know the principle. We didn't know the principle, right? So let me tell you this here. I'm 47, but I'm trying to preserve if you ask me, I'm 37. That's why I get up and work out all the time. I'm 37. I ain't reached 47 yet. That's just a number. All right. So my clock went back 10 years so that when I reach 60, I'm still looking like I'm 40. And I can still go out and play and do all the other things that I need to do. Right. So I don't really go about the number, but even with that being said, we don't know about the principles. So that's why a lot of us don't get to that point early on. We don't know how to utilize the sex energy. But when it's brought to us, it's an aha moment, right? Men tend to concentrate more on the physical emotion of sex, not knowing that sex energy has many other possibilities. But that's why I say, even in the single parent homes, my ladies, teach your son. Teach your son. All of these principles work, but teach your son about this principle. Because guess what? When hormones get to jumping, hey son, let's start a business. And teach them how to work that business. But take that energy, because if you tell them this, and you take that energy, you build this business, you can almost have any woman you want. But you have to select. You have to make a right selection. You can interview them at that point in time. Right? So it's real. You have to let the children know, and I'm talking really about the men at this point in time, because men move off of sexual nature. We're physical. We see it, we want it, and we move in that direction. But if we start to teach our young men, hey, this is how this works. This is how we're going to utilize this energy to get what you need to get done. We're going to be able to move in a direction that changes our state of being really quickly, right? Simply stated, if we put the energy into chasing the dream or desire like we went after the woman, we would have gotten where we needed to be much faster before 40. High sex people are the most efficient salesmen or women. They have what they call personal magnetism. They can draw people to them. And that's why I tell you guys, it's about how you interact with a person, how you're looking, right? Sell yourself to people. When you get in front of somebody, you have all the confidence in the world that you're going to make the sale. If you're in the sales business, but everybody is in some type of sales business. Even us at the school, we have to sell our school to the parents and why they should bring their child to our school. Why is it that you should bring, what makes your school any different? We're going to show you. We're going to show you, right? This energy is communicated, right? We're talking about the magnetism. This type of energy is communicated through handshakes, the tone of your voice, right? Are you bold? Are you boisterous? Are you just loud for no reason? Your posture, how you carry yourself, your vibration of thought. People pick up on how you think because really how you tell people how you think is how you speak, right? You can tell people how they speak. You can tell about a person by the way they interact. And then you can also look at a person's body language and tell if that person really don't want to be there. You can tell. We have to sit back and take notes on people as well. Because one of the things is we got to know who's in our area, who's in our circle, who are the people we're going to be able to hire on our team, especially if we're in sales, right? Because sales is important. They have to be some highly energetic people that are going to move you in the right direction. That's going to make that sale. That's going to be able to take that no and keep on ticking, right? Tell me no, okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna get a yes somewhere down this line. I'm gonna get a couple of yeses. And when I get that yes, I'm able to show my work and I'm gonna come back to you later down the line and you're going to tell me yes. Just because you told me no once don't mean that the second time around or the third time around when I come, you're going to tell me no, right? You have to have people with that type of energy. Right? Body adornment, people that take care of their body, the way they dress, their personal appearance. That's huge. Really? I'm gonna tell you, sex sells. And that's why you see, even at Hooters, these girls with their little shorts on and they like all that stuff, because they know sex sells. If you look at the commercial, sex sells. They want a good looking person to sell their product. You are that great looking person for your own product. You have beautiful minds. Move in the direction, have the confidence, right? Build those type of people around you. Have confidence in what you're doing, great people. This is what this is about. But that comes all with understanding where we are. That personal magnetism is huge, right? They have to have some type of energy, some type of enthusiasm. I learned this from one of my coaches. Nothing great is done without enthusiasm. Nothing great is done without enthusiasm. You got to hype yourself up. If you don't hype yourself up and move in that direction, it's not going to happen. You're going to be flat. Who wants to be around somebody that's flat, duh? And I don't know, body language. They just don't know. You can't deal with them type of people. Move away from them because that energy is contagious. Move away from them people, right? Them people that's dragging and that always come to you. Well, girl, you know, it's just hard because, hey, step out of it, right? Get it together, sister. Get it together, brother. Like, you gotta, or move away from them because you don't want none of that on you, right? Move away from them type of people. You can help them from a distance, but don't sit there and just absorb all that on you. You're gonna have to take a spiritual bath after that, right? It's real. So understanding that the average man reaches his greatest capacity to create between, and then we're talking about men, we're not talking about women. Women are a lot more ahead of us, men, right? The men that I do have on here. This is for the men. The average man reaches his greatest capacity to create between the ages of 40 and 60. And between 40 and 50 are the most fruitful. So you have to move in direction. My wife used to always say, boy, if he ain't got it by 40, he ain't got it. I used to look at her like, well, that ain't what the books say. I'm going to get it. I don't care what you talking about after 40. After 40, you start to see even Warren Buffett, he didn't kick in until about 50 something, just getting all those millions, right? So it's never over. It's never over. We got to continue to move. It doesn't matter. Sometimes we want it right now. And it is not meant to just happen right now. We just started. If you don't know anything about business, it takes anywhere from 5 to 15 years to get started in business and then it be up and rolling, right? The way you want it to. Because guess what? You don't want to just have one. You want to be able to expand out. So that comes with, that's a process. It doesn't just show up and boom, we're up and rolling. Sometimes you want to think like that, right? But it just doesn't happen. Even with investments, it takes a time period for those things to manifest, right? And understanding this here, love, sex, and romance, they will drive men to super heights. The emotions of love, sex, and romance are the sides of the eternal triangle of achievement and building. And with this being said, we talk about this here. Marriages not blessed with the affinity of love and balance with sex cannot be happy. There's a balance with that. Even in our relationships, you gotta love a person and you gotta have a little bit of relations. There ain't nobody telling you you gotta just, but there's an affinity between two. But even with that, we all gotta be in the right space. We have to be in the right space even doing that. So if you're not ready for that, don't get involved in a relationship. Work on you, right? Don't try to take on relationships just because you think you need a person. Go find that mastermind team at that point in time, right? That mastermind team can be the people that you have mental relations with. And when I have those mental relations, I can build myself up and then I can go out and do the other things that I want to do, right? If you're not ready for a relationship, don't get involved in one. That is so true, because at that point in time, if that person's mind isn't right and yours isn't right, it's going to back you up a few years, a few months, a few years. So understand how this thing works. When the two emotions are blended, and talking about love and sex, in the marriage, it may bring a state of mind closest to the spiritual plane. That means that those two are on a flight to get where they need to go, right? That's why marriage is so beautiful when it works. When it works, guess what? You have to put work into marriage. You have to put work into relationships. And that's not even just of man and woman, of woman and woman, of man and man, of however, even with the people at your jobs, at your businesses. You have to have a working relationship with those people. And it has to be in a harmonious way. Right? I love everybody that I've come in contact with. Right? Even with that being said, I'm not going to treat the janitor no different way than I treat the headmaster of the school. Right? If anything, I want the janitor to up his status. I want him to be able to, hey, you need to start a couple of other businesses. How do we get you into these other offices so that you can continue to move? Because I want to see everybody succeed. What I want for myself, I want for everyone. And we have to move in that direction, right? Just a couple of more sentences. It talks about a man's wife can either make him or break him. Women, you can make or break a man. And that is so true, right? The making or breaking is in the result of the wife's understanding or lack thereof of the emotions of love, sex, and romance. All right? If the wife don't understand it, the man don't understand it. Screw. So we all have to understand that sex is the most powerful desire, but love is what trumps all. Love, 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 love. Right? Love. And this applies to men. So you guys got to understand, we are no different. We have to understand what love, sex, and romance does. Right? And not just want the sex part. And be able to transmute that sexual energy that we have into our businesses that move us in a direction. That is going to help us help our families. That's going to help us create that generational wealth that we're looking for. Right? And that's our buzzword, generational wealth. We want to create generational wealth, not just for us, right? It's for the people that are coming up behind us, for our kids, right? 6, 8, 10 generations behind us. If you look at Henry Ford, those cars are still out there. They're still making Henry Ford cars. Firestone, that's the guy's name, right? It's still making tires. Wrigley's chewing gum. They talk about all these people in the book. Those things are still existing today. Their families are still benefiting from them. So at this point in time, we have to be the guys that put our feet in the ground, guys and girls, men and women. We have to be those people that put our feet in the ground now, that build something that's going to outlive us. Because each one of us are going to leave this earth. But if we set it in stone and we teach those behind us that are coming up how to take care of it, that's our generational wealth. That is our generational wealth. It allows us to move in that direction. So understand, it's not just for you. It's not just for you. You're thinking about the generations to come. I'm becoming a legend, building a legacy. I am becoming a legend, building a legacy. Those are my last two kids' names. I am becoming a legend and building a legacy, right? I have to teach them. And being a lot older at this point in time, I affirm, because my goal is not trying, I'm putting upon their subconscious mind what I want them to know at a young age. I'm saying it in front of them. Affirm with your children. Teach them how. Right? Don't worry about what other people are thinking. This is for you and your kids, your family. This is what you're looking to build. If you can build a family business, build it with the family. If that's your mastermind that you have to work with right now, do it. If that's all that you have, do it with them. They're going to help you. Guess what? When I get a little older and that time comes, I'm leaning on them at that point in time. But Lord willing, I have taught them. Right? Because I've embedded in them as a small. They don't forget. Right? You have to plant the seed. When you plant the seed, you got to water the seed. You got to take care of it until it starts to germinate. And when it starts to grow, it starts to produce fruit. And when it starts to produce fruit, everyone can eat from the tree. So in understanding that, these are the things that we have to do in order to make ourselves better people. And listen, it's not just one principle. We got to put all these principles together. When he starts to talk about them, you can see in reading goes back. So I can relate even this chapter here back to organized planning. Right? I can relate some of these things back to. So with that being said, I don't want to take you guys over too much time. It's definitely been a blessing to have each and every one of you guys here today. And look forward to the next 2 chapters. It looks like we have about two or three more sessions, maybe 2 or 3 more sessions to move in the right direction. And then we'll be doing follow-ups. Right? We'll be doing follow-ups because I want to hear where you guys are. I want to hear where you guys are and what has happened in your life, right? Since I went over the time a little bit, what next week we'll definitely open up with. I want to hear what everybody's doing. Next week, we go over the subconscious mind and then the brain. And those are 2 short chapters. So make sure you get them in. Those are two short chapters. All right, talks about the subconscious mind. And we've been talking about the subconscious mind and suppressing the subconscious mind with what it is that you wanted to know. Learn a little bit more about it. Learn a little bit more about it. All right. Before we close out, let me close out with this self-confidence creed. All right, and I hope you guys been studying. If you don't, you can go back and look at the video, and you can, just like you listen to the music, you can learn it. It says, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I will demand of myself persistent, continuous, aggressive action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. I realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves into outward physical action, gradually transforming themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of obtaining the object back of it. Therefore, I would devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. I have clearly written a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. I fully realize that no wealth nor position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not develop all human effects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others will never help me to succeed. I will cause others to believe in me because I believe in them and in myself. Right? So believe in yourself. That's where it starts at. When you start believing in yourself, you get other people to believe in you, right? And you start to move in a direction, and you be a way shower. You know, when I talk about being a way shower, you just demonstrating. You don't have to talk about it. Just start to move in the right direction, and the things that you're moving towards, they're going to move towards you. Right. So another thing that I will ask you guys to do, if you're up in the morning time, even in school, we go on Instagram Live, Coach Mario Smith or True Prep Academy. Right, we're talking to our kids like this here in the morning. We go through those quotes and we talk about those quotes with the kids. So if you want some of that good information, some of that great energy in the morning, hey, we looking to fire you up and make you have a wonderful day. But with that being said, listen, I want to thank you guys all for your time. God bless you. I'll have a wonderful week, and let's continue to move in the right direction. Say those affirmations. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, you guys have a wonderful week. God bless.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was great.
Great stuff.
Grateful.
Thank you, Coach Mario.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Mario.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye to the people.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, look at him.
Hey, big boy. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, yes, yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mouse, please. Please.
You guys have a wonderful night.